Okay, we are ready to roll. So thank you for joining us today. We are the Digital Marketing Clinic of the Universities of Wisconsin. We were founded as a result of the pandemic. When the pandemic hit, all professors, including myself, had a week to go online. And in my course, I made the decision rather than having my students choose a brand, they would be assigned a small business to tackle the most dire digital marketing needs that they had during the pandemic. The process went so well with my students. They felt like they were helping businesses during the pandemic that as a result, I had the idea that maybe we could help businesses year round. Now, fast forward, we are now in our fourth year of serving small businesses throughout the state of Wisconsin. We have served a total of 416 clients in 52 counties. The audience that we have today is near and dear to our hearts. Megan and I love supporting female-owned businesses. In fact, on any given month, we see that up to 60 to 70% of the businesses that we serve are women-owned businesses, which is amazing. I always like to affectionately say, women like to ask for help. So without further ado, we get into our presentation. So what will we discuss today? We're going to talk about POEM and how it provides the necessary framework for digital marketing success. POEM is very important. I have been teaching POEM, now it will be my 15th semester teaching digital marketing. I've had over 1,000 students come through the classroom and they all learn about POEM. And I hope when they go into the marketing world that they remember POEM because it provides a framework. A lot of marketing really boils down to being very focused. Marketing is changing constantly, and POEM provides a necessary framework. We're going to start with the O part of POEM. We're going to talk about owned media in order to see why it's important. We're going to talk about website landing page framework. We will have real world examples. So Megan and I asked for volunteers who were interested in having us look at their web and social media presence. We had 4 volunteers, and I'm happy to say that we found something in each of the 4 that we could include in this presentation. Next, we're going to move up to P. We're going to talk about paid media. Now, we have a strategic reason why we're doing paid second. We believe at the clinic and believe in marketing best practice that you need to get your owned media in order before you consider advertising. We'll provide paid media examples from the digital marketing clinic from clients that we've served. And then finally, we're going to talk about the earned media. We'll do earned media examples from both the volunteers, businesses that are in this presentation, and from the digital marketing clinic. And we'll round out the presentation with measurement tools. This is a chart that I love to show in the classroom. It usually makes my students a little nervous because it looks complex. Digital marketing, it still is technical. There is a lot to it. There's analytics. There are platforms to master. There's video to get to learn how to do. There's making sure your website is mobile compatible. There's user interface. So I'm not going to sugarcoat things. Digital marketing is technical. And that's why we created the clinic, because it can be overwhelming for the small business owner. AI is all over the place. And in our field, AI is a great brainstorming and efficiency tool. We always recommend to clients that you do not have AI completely produced AI content. You have AI enhanced content. That could be a topic for a whole nother presentation. AI is wonderful for brainstorming. It's great for efficiency, but it also makes the business owner wonder if they are behind because AI is taking off so fast. Strategy, so strategy and structure. In marketing, that I tell my students that provides confidence. And then POEM, which is what we're talking about today, is a great starting point to keep efforts focused. So what is POEM? POEM is a framework used to categorize different types of marketing channels. We're going to have Megan talk about POEM, and she's going to walk you through the different areas. Then I'll come in again as directed and talk about some client examples.
Yeah, so POM is essentially a way to reach your audience effectively through paid, owned, and earned media, like Kathy mentioned. And this framework is to help those marketing channels that you have effectively reach your audience. All of you guys have different target audiences, but you will all be using paid, owned, and earned media. So it's kind of how to figure out what works best for you and your business. So paid media. This is a company that pays to promote its content on external platforms. This would be, either on Google or maybe social media marketing, advertisements like on Instagram or Facebook. You're able to get quick and measurable results. You can track this on Meta Business Suite or on Google Analytics. And you're also, it allows you to have more specific targeting. Doing paid media, you're able to reach that target audience a little easier because you can set things like age, gender, location, interest, behaviors, stuff like that. So it's a little easier to reach who you're trying to target. And it just helps effectively drive that traffic and conversions that you're looking for. So owned media, this is essentially what you guys have control over. So your email, your website, and your social media platforms that you guys work on and control. Kathy kind of mentioned social media is a little different. If you want to go ahead and kind of talk about like the difference if you own it.
So social media is considered owned media, but there's a caveat to it. When you are building your presence on social media, you have to keep in mind it is rented land. So we have had a lot of clients come into the clinic who have had issues with their social media accounts, either for some reason they've been blocked from their account, and it is traumatic from that for them. So you have to keep in mind when we're categorizing this, yes, social media is in there with your profiles and your posts, but it also is on rented property. So there's just a caveat to that.
Yeah. So this owned media helps create awareness for people that might not have already known about your brand or your business. You're able to reach people in that awareness stage of the buyer journey, and you are able to continue to try and reach them and bring them in to your funnel to get them to maybe the consideration stage or the decision-making stage of either booking a service with you or purchasing from your brand. So last is earned media. This is any like publicity or exposure a company gets from other people or businesses without you having to pay for it. So some examples would be like a review on your Google business profile, testimonials, social media shares and mentions if someone posts about you, any articles or press coverage written about your brand. Maybe even influencers mention you without you paying them or doing like some type of sponsorship. And then also your SEO efforts. If you are able to highly rank on Google and have that visibility. And yeah, just builds that trust and credibility through genuine support from others. If businesses that are, highly credible talk about you, that will gain that trust from other businesses as well and people about your brand. Okay, so first we're talking about owned media. As you can see, we kind of have this graphic that talks about all the efforts that you'd make. Google, your home page, service page, that call to action. It's basically you want on your website to have that lead. You want a strong lead to get people to either purchase that product or service. If there's a weak link at the end of this lead generation chain, all of the efforts that you make in your website will be wasted. So on social media, you are able to build a lead with your call to actions. Maybe it's a link to your website, a button to, page to buy your product. But on your website specifically, a lead generation would be that contact page. And a lot of times people don't know when they, submit a form or contact you that it was truly submitted. So, next page. These are just some examples. The one on the left side is from Green Pastures Living, which is
Client example.
a client example. And this is one of their contact pages. And so they have that, you'd love to connect with them, reach out by email or phone. But they also have underneath that monthly newsletter,
Which is a different CTA.
which is a different call to action. And it also could be confusing because they might think that is the contact form. So on the right, you see what a good after the contact is initiated, what that looks like. So you want to have some type of statement saying that it was received and it was confirmed, and that you are also able to have that time frame of when they're going to hear back from you.
So this client, so Green Pastures, really needs to have a contact us form. And when that's completed, they need to have a thank you page. This will enable the customer on the journey, that thank you page, that endpoint, to know that their submission was received, also to know when they will be contacted back. It is also good in analytics because you'll know the difference between somebody who simply landed on your contact page versus somebody who reached a thank you page who actually completed it. So it makes it seamless for you. When you're just sending somebody just only to your email, then you have the quandary of like monitoring your email. How many did I get? Here you let analytics, again, do the efficient work for you. And you have a thank you page. And now you simply go into your analytics and you monitor what's our traffic been? How many sessions have we had to this contact page? That equates to how many people filled out the form. I would also like to mention before Megan goes on, this chain is provided by Andy Crestodina from Orbit Media. Andy is a very, very good resource. I highly recommend that you follow him on LinkedIn. We're also going to have his information at the end of this presentation.
Yeah, so some more tips for your contact page. You want to make sure that it works. You want to make sure to test it. If it looks good on laptops and on your phone, because people will be using two different platforms, is that thank you page. You just want to make sure that it is working, because if it doesn't work, it doesn't really matter. And you also want to make sure to add credibility to that page. You want to make sure that you're legit. You can show pictures of yourself, testimonials, awards, certifications, anything like that to add that credibility on that contact page. Make sure that they go through with contacting you. And like I mentioned, let them know that you will respond very promptly. Make sure it's easy and short. If you ask for too much information, if it's a really long form, it probably will go elsewhere or just not take the time to do it. So you would rather have quality over quantity. You just want them to get to the main points of why they're trying to contact you. And yes, make sure you have your phone number, mailing address, anything like that, so they are able to know that you are a legit business. If some people like just to have that face-to-face, like that phone call, hear your voice. So have that phone number available. Okay, and then kind of talking about call to actions. This helps maximize conversion rates, and it also just helps engage the users on your website. This is an example of Peggy Bakes, which I think is
another client.
Yeah, one of you guys. And they have two different area spots, kind of a repeat of that call to action of contacting them. So the contact us now button, when you click on it, goes and opens your email, which they already have shown underneath the email. So they also just don't really know where that button is leading them to, and they don't have a landing page designated to contacting them. So just a recommendation would be adding a contact page and having that form either hyperlinked in when they fill it out, or just making them aware that it will bring them to their email.
Okay, back to me. So this is more information from Andy Crestodina. I think he does a really good job of outlining just the potential of having a really good call to action. So if you look at the bottom, it's very common for us to see clients who just have contact us. When you just have contact us, it doesn't indicate any sort of value or ease of getting in touch with you. So the goal for a small business is to make your CTA sound valuable. So for example, increasing leads without increasing traffic, or making it sound easy, schedule a call with someone, or contact us and an expert will get back to you within 24 hours. Just speaking like a human rather than robotic. So our challenge to small business owners is to move beyond just a generic contact us. Make it warm, make it inviting, add some value statement to it, and make it sound easy for somebody to get in touch with you because you work so hard to get someone to the point that they want to contact your business. So you make it warm and inviting. And I think we have a question. Okay.
It's from Michael.
Okay. Thanks so much for the feedback. Website also has a pop-up contact that was linked to CRM. Should I get rid of contact page as a tab or just modify it? I think okay, so Anne, you can chime in while we're discussing it. So if your contact is a standalone page, correct?
Yeah.
And you can turn your microphone on. Okay. So that's good because then in analytics, it's going to be /contact that you are going to be monitoring. And those are, you want to monitor how many people actually landed on that page. What you need, do you have a thank you page that populates after you fill out the form?
I don't know. I gotta
Okay.
look that up. I think I do, but
Okay.
that's maybe in the weeds of, yeah. I need to
Okay.
ask the CRM how that all looks. But yes, I
Yep.
wrote that down as a to-do follow-up.
Yes. So just make it simple on yourself to make sure that you have that populated separate thank you page because that's
Yep.
going to allow you to monitor those completions in your analytics and make it easy on yourself.
And I feel like it's also linked to Google. My CRM is linked to Google, so it tells me how many people
Awesome.
do all the things. So thank you, though.
Good. Okay, so now we're talking about own media style. This is another client example. The starting point of creating a great service page. You always need to research search intent. So don't feel bad if you haven't done keyword research because we find that 9 of 10 of our clients have not done keyword research or SEO. And that's why we exist as a clinic because we help every single one of these clients with that. So here's a client example. Just Breathe with a Horse is the client. Their services. So when we were introduced to this client, the first thing that we look at and what consumers look at, what do you have to offer? This client is offering access bars and customized workshops. We didn't understand at first what that was. So we took a look at access bars, and that's a type of therapy. Also, this client is doing mindfulness experiences with horses. So let's continue on. Access bars. So access bars can mean a lot of different things, but we actually found that there's a little bit of search volume in Wisconsin, where this business is located, for access bar therapy. So that is a window of opportunity. You'll see here, this is a keyword research tool that we use. We'll provide more information on costs. It's not very expensive. It's very valuable. It gives you keyword suggestions for any keyword that you put in. We have Wisconsin as our geolocation, and you will see that the potential for this client is a total volume of 190, and this is per month. The average trend, you'll see, oops, sorry, just to go back, thank you. The average trend is trending up. And then you'll also see in the greens, I keep on doing that. I should just say, look to the right. So you'll see in the green, the competition, meaning how competitive is this keyword if you wanted to advertise to it? It's low. Now, this client in particular, if they had a piece of 190 potential searches for access bar therapy, it would be closer, much closer to what they offer.
We have another question.
Okay,
From
sure.
From Jody. 2.5 cups, cutlery, bake shop. Is it worth a large amount of money to have a company handle Google listings? And would that company be responsible for Aha.
Yes, Jody, go ahead and turn your microphone on. We do have clients come to us that pay to outsource to have a company handle the Google advertising. Jody, are you paying for a company to handle your Google advertising?
I am. It was actually one of the first really big investments that I made when I took over ownership from my boss.
Okay.
And now I'm wondering if it's really worth it. Because it's
Have
a
you
huge
received-
cost.
It can be. It can be.
Oh.
Have you received keyword research and have they looked at your website for optimization?
Yes, they've looked at the website for optimization. I don't recall receiving keyword research analytics or anything like that.
Okay. Okay, this is a more complex endeavor. My recommendation
I'm
is you apply
sorry.
to our clinic. No, it could be, my recommendation would be to apply to our clinic. Because we can do an assessment on what they've done already, but you really should be getting that keyword research. Every single important landing page needs to be tied to a seed keyword, and you should be able to know your potential volume of
Now, I would
customers.
assume it's, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. Continue.
Well, I would assume it's a valid company, and
Mhm.
I do receive interaction from them regarding
Okay.
like the reviews that they're monitoring for me and things
Okay.
of that nature. I, I guess I'm assuming that they're on top of the keyword. Maybe I just don't receive that
Well,
info.
and a lot of what we do at the clinic is we help small business owners ask better questions. So it's just a matter of you getting some of the data that you need. So if you ask them for keyword research data and what your pages have been optimized for, what that seed keyword is, there needs to be optimization on each page in critical areas of SEO.
Right.
Which would be your URL, which would be your images, which would be your tag. And like I said, it gets a little bit into the weeds, but we do sessions specifically about SEO webinars, but definitely asking for that keyword information will allow you to have a more holistic picture on the potential volume.
Okay.
Cool.
And
Good
then
question.
Peggy would like more information as to how we can.
Yes. Peggy, we will have a link provided to apply to our digital marketing clinic. Okay, we're still continuing on with Just Breathe with the Horse. So we are very, very intrigued about their mindfulness experiences, and people can have mindfulness experiences in all different forms. So we took a look at the potential. Equine mindfulness was something that was mentioned on the site, but we took a look at equine therapy. And then again, in the state of Wisconsin for this client, she has the potential of a search volume of 3,800 of people who are searching specifically for equine therapy and very closely associated keywords like therapeutic equine and therapy equine. So there is a potential to create a landing page that specifically talks about equine therapy to pull these searches into her site and having them click on the link to get to her.
Heather has a question about SEO and
Yes.
AI searches.
Okay. Can you look SEO, AI searches and voice? How are you incorporating this into your recommendations? AI search and voice search, yes. This is this is the crux of how, searches are now coming up like AI recommended. These keyword tools are basically, they're going to have to take into account all forms of search. So that is, I would say 2025 is in development. You'll hear SEO experts in the marketing space say that search engine optimization is not going away. Companies still have to have really solid websites of the keywords that are important to them, but it is evolving. I don't know the definitive answer if I can say that equine therapy 320 search volume included all voice and AI search. I don't know. So to answer that question, I will be researching it as well because it's ever evolving. Okay, the next client. So this client has a page that is labeled housing. When this client is in a very specific area of housing, it's independent housing for seniors, specifically rural. And when I'm giving these clients examples, you can comment and chat as well if we're on target. So housing is very broad. In Wisconsin, 110,000 searches per month. So getting a little bit more refined, senior housing, over 55, etc. Now you have 10,000 searches. When it is rural senior housing, it got a little bit too refined. It was only about 10 searches a month. So at least moving on the continuum of getting a little bit more refined, instead of having your page be called housing, moving into the realm of senior housing.
And we have another.
Okay. How do we find the keywords which we should work off first? We think long tail keyword, meaning multiple words, but customers might be using a different term. Yes, Jenna, great question. Know thy customer. So oftentimes with organizations, the sales team, smaller organization, the business owner, asking your customers what you search for. So I think that is a really good starting point. And then also doing your own Google searches and seeing if your competitors in the space come up. We do this discovery process with clients all of the time. So was there another comment? I heard somebody coming in. So I would say knowing your customer, knowing what your customer is searching for. And then for long tail keywords, great question. So for example, we're on senior housing right now, senior housing, rural communities would be a longer keyword that may not have a ton of search volume. That is great for blog posts. So being a thought leader, some of those longer tail keywords can be fantastic for blog posts. So don't forget about those. I mean, if you have a keyword that is longer in nature, multiple words, it can be great for blogs.
And then one more. Is it enough? I was just gonna say, yeah, we just had an example of a client that we just had, where like knowing your target audience is really important because she was a yoga studio center, and one of the services she provided, it was multiple services of warm yoga, but right now a huge trend in yoga is hot yoga, and so looking at the search volume, she really wanted it to call it like warm yoga. And that's what she put on all of her service pages, and then doing the research and seeing that it was like a search volume of 10 versus like 500, 400.
Right.
So just really listening to the people that are in your industry that are doing it is really important.
We had a question about, is knowing Google keyword research enough? Google has a free keyword planning tool, and that is really great to use. We like the ease of using the tool that you see on the screen right now called Keyword Tool. We always start with keywordtool.io because it's just so easy to use. It also has a questions feature, which we actually have in this presentation as well, which for a keyword, you can find common questions associated and use with that keyword. So we like keywordtool.io. And then we also use SEMrush, SEM-Rush, which is keywordtool.io and Overdrive. That we use when we want to do things like backlink analysis, meaning how many websites are linking to you and if any of these links are good or if they're toxic. So I think we recommend small businesses continue to use the free Google tool if they're using that, but make the investment in at least keywordtool.io. And then if they really have gotten some great earned media and they have a lot of backlinks coming to them, SEMrush helps as well. So to answer that question, it's Google is good, but use other tools in addition to get more of a comprehensive picture. Now we're moving on to an example of blogs. So this was really good timing. I was making a plug for keywordtool.io. So there is a great questions feature. So this client, J&J Gifts and More, has a blog, which is awesome. Their most recent blog is called, and you can see this in the URL that we took a screenshot of, Communion Confirmation Gifts, Handcrafted Jewelry Made in the USA. Whew, that's a lot to take in. So we love that this client is doing blogs. Awesome. A great tool is to see what are the questions associated with my business, with my keywords. And so simply, there are 2 questions that have on average of about 140 searches a month. What are good first communion gifts? And do you give gifts for your first communion? Both are really great. And we know from data that there's the potential to have search volume. What's interesting is there's high competition. You see that red of 74? High competition for what are good first communion gifts. So that's great for blog posts. Don't advertise to it.
Maureen would like to know, do you need an SEO specialist to set this up?
No, you do not need an SEO specialist to have this data. You need to have control of your website for one and have the ability to make your own pages. But this is just information using keywordtool.io and using that data of searches to find questions that are being asked that involve your keyword.
Okay, so kind of moving into paid media and what this would look like. So as you can see, this is an example of a Google search ad. And you can see the first thing is the display path. So it shows exactly where you would be going. It is important to advertise a certain keyword after finding all those keywords that are being searched for. Putting that in your title, but then making sure that path connects then to that specific landing page about what you are advertising for. We see very often times you advertise for a specific service or to the contact page, and you link just your home page, just that general landing page of your website. And you don't want people going trying to search for this service throughout your website then. It's just a broken ad that people won't really get anything out of, and then that's kind of a lead loss. So this is a client that we had, just a great example of an ad that they created. So they are advertising for a trust for estate planning. They have a great title saying need a trust, contact us. They're already talking about like a contact page. Living and family trust, these were keywords that they also researched, and they had a search volume, and they have a description underneath talking about estate planning, having a trust. And when you click on that ad, it leads you directly to that contact page for estate planning. This is another example of paid media. This is just on social media. A Facebook ad. Same thing. They kind of have a nice little eye-catching graphic talking about branding guides and learning more. And that's kind of their whole ad. And when you click on the Learn More button, it leads you directly to the offers page of how to build a consistent brand. And they have a button, download now. So it's just very smooth. It creates a great lead on social media and brings them directly to the website. And having that call to action, download now, is just another great lead as well.
Earned media. So now that you've gotten your website in order, your owned media, you have your paid media going to a very specific landing page, and you know the keywords you're going after. Now, how are you going to amplify your efforts? How can you earn some great earned media? So earned media encompasses your shares and mentions. It's social media engagement. You want to have frequent, relatable, quality posts that get more reactions. Now, one thing I teach in the classroom is about the utilitarian value that you can have in social media. What I mean by that is very pragmatic. Oftentimes we have clients come to us that say, well, social media is just about entertainment, right? Not so much. If you provide relatable quality posts, your audience is okay if you advertise to them every once in a while. So 1 of 5 posts should include a deal or a discount you're offering, best education practices, a contest, product updates, the practical things that provide utility. So there's nothing wrong with 1 of every 5 posts being more promotional or practical in nature. And you should cater to your audience. The more understood your audience feels, the higher amount of engagement you're going to have with them. So reviews, so important. Now, reviews can be your evergreen content. You could repurpose these to show them on other platforms. So if a person is giving you 5 stars, have said amazing things, repurpose it. You've earned it. So it's a great way to build your credibility. Backlinks. So there is a marketing expert by the name of Neil Patel. Teach my students all the time, the #1 way that you want to improve your rankings in Google is by having a website that has a lot of backlinks. So these are other reputable websites that are linking to you. We can find what those links are using SEMrush, find the links that you currently have. We worked with this client based out of Milwaukee, Salon Lavish, because they were getting backlinks from reputable sources. And here's how it works. So for example, reputable source, WIBIC, for small business owners, women-owned businesses. They have a listing, a directory listing, and on there, they have a visit link to the website. That's a backlink. And the more you can get from reputable websites, the better. So take stock in what you have. Maybe there's some entities. We found out with Salon Lavish that there were some Chamber of Commerce, there's Black-owned business Chamber of Commerce in Wisconsin that weren't providing backlinks. So because they're an active member of that association, they're working with them to get a directory to have links to them for backlinks. Yes. When a post contains certain words like sale, it causes the business to receive spam messages at extremely high volume. How do we know what words to use? Okay, 25 cup. So using words such as sale. I haven't heard necessarily that sale is causes issues. Free or excessive use of punctuation can cause issues. Did you have specifically an issue when you use sale? You can turn your microphone on for more context.
I have. Okay. I'm not sure what words cause it, but I know that it is not something that is specific to us in our Facebook page. I haven't had conversations with other small business owners in my town, you know, with our small business meetings that we have here locally, who have expressed the same thing happening to them. And we don't know what it is that's causing it. And what the general thought was amongst the conversation was that it's often tied to posts where you're talking about a sale and maybe it's free. I honestly don't know, or the
Yeah,
excessive
yeah.
punctuation. Now that concerns me because I'm a punctuation girl. I am, and I had no
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. So excessive use of free and punctuation has been around for some time. Especially in email marketing, that can activate spam. It can be flagged as spam. But like I said, digital marketing is growing, evolving. And there's always something new on the horizon. Businesses, they're trying to break through the algorithm on social media to make sure that their posts are seen and shared. Google traditionally penalizes business accounts before accounts from people in terms of not giving them as much exposure. So if you are feeling that the use of sale, and specifically that word, is not generating likes and shares, then use AI to brainstorm some other different call to action. So again, remember, back to Andy Crestodina, are you providing value in that call to action? Value and ease for the consumer.
And then
Can I
in
ask
terms
one
of the
follow-up question on that? I'm sorry.
Sure, go ahead.
Is there somewhere where we can access that information as far as what the good words are to use and what the bad words or bad
Do some of your
tendencies
own
like
research. Yeah, Google doesn't tell us what they like or don't like. They only give us clues, and they like original content. So whatever you do in terms of brainstorming on AI, make sure that you add your brand voice to it. So Google will always say, we want original content because we're in the business of providing the best search results. So that, I think, is probably the thing to go on, is just speak in a language that you're very relatable to your customers. And if you see that something isn't work, pivot, brainstorm, and try something different.
and says email campaigns, emotional inbox, and not written.
Email campaigns are going to the promotion box and not the main box. Okay,
Yeah, I'm
so
here. Is it the words I'm using? Like she said, is it sale? Is it something I'm saying that like, oh, it's saying
it
that's
could,
a promotion,
yes.
but I'm
It could
trying not to.
also, yeah, it also could be, what is your exact email that you're using to send? Is it an
I'm
info
using it
at?
through uh
What is
no,
the email that you're using to send it?
it goes through my CRM and they try to
Okay,
not send it mass, to do
right.
that. But
But what is the originating email?
it should be live
So,
at greenpasturesliving.com. Yeah, I took out the
okay,
info.
good. So it sounds like a human that's sending it. So it's not like an info at. So it could be, yeah, we would have to do more of an investigation on what your subject lines were.
Okay,
It,
it's
it,
a
it
subject
could
line
be
thing.
some
Okay.
of the words, could be, yes. Another thing too is, again, I'm getting into the weeds a little bit, but that's okay. I love questions. It can be your text to image ratio too. So sometimes emails that just pretty much present like a letter can perform even better than those that have a high image ratio.
Okay. Yeah, this only has
Mhm.
one image. That's all they let me do
Okay,
for free.
all right, so just one image. Yeah, so we would have to do a little
Okay.
bit of investigating. Good reason to apply to our clinic.
I don't think I can because I'm a nonprofit.
Ah, send me an email anyway. Maybe I can get you in the classroom.
Oh, thanks.
Okay. So a little bit of humor. So the best way to gain popularity is through backlinks. Google considers those backlinks as a sign of your site's trustworthiness. And your backlinks can connect to higher rankings. So there is a free tool. You can use a Google Search Console and you can see what some of those main words are, where your backlinks are coming from. You can use SEMrush. And an important thing too is to make sure that these links are of quality. Every small business does have toxic backlinks. It's just the world that we live in. And so it is a constant effort to become popular. Here we use SEMrush for Peggy Bakes. She's had a lot of great press. So for some reason, though, on a Food Blog Friday, that's listed as a no follow on their end, which is unfortunate because that's good press for her. But she has had Envision Fond du Lac, UW Green Bay, the Fox Cities Chamber, the New North, as seen in these publications, which is wonderful. This is just the starting point. She has more backlinks after that, but it just gives you a good window on who is linking to you.
Can I just ask a question? Thank you for that.
Yes.
Yes. You just mentioned, so I didn't see it on there, but you said someone did an unfollow. That's not a good thing.
This is
sorry.
a no follow. So for some reason, Food Blog, yeah, if you know the Food Blog, do you know these people, Food Blog Friday?
I don't.
Okay. Sometimes it's a matter of just understanding the website. This website is set up where they don't want a follow back. And sometimes big media companies do that, but if you did know the people, it'd be a question of why. Yeah, I mean, sometimes if you know the web developer, you could ask the question. But it is set up as a no follow. It's not hurting you by any means. It's just that you don't get any of the residual benefit of any of their authority onto you.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah. And great work, by the way. Lots of earned media. Nicely done.
Thank you.
The follow, no follow, does not understand what that means? Okay. So another question about the follow, no follow. It means that so this Food Blog Friday is linking back to Peggy Bakes, but they won't reciprocate, meaning that Peggy Bakes would try to follow back to them to get that benefit of domain authority. She wouldn't be able to. So it's set up as a no follow link.
So that no follow is something you can control? You
can't control. You can't control what that other website has decided. Like I said, some of the big media companies, like the New York Times says, hey, we'll follow you. You can't get any of the benefit of our domain authority by following back.
I get it now. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
So, just in a nutshell, I mean, this is really nice exercise for a small business to go through because they might not be aware. So let's just say, I know Peggy, has been aware of these press mentions because we saw her promote it on social media. Also, great job. But some small businesses might not even realize some of these reputable directories that are linking to them. We had a client from here at Oshkosh get a ton of press, the Whitburn Center, which they're involved in government research. They were having a lot of mentions on a reputable website for firefighters in Chicago. And they didn't know that because we're based in Wisconsin. So that was kind of like, this is great. We're getting more popular votes. So that's why that activity is so important when you're looking at earned media. You have to know where your starting point is, so maybe you can grow from there.
So we're just admittedly, I don't even understand anything what that was about. I don't understand how those follows happen or anything. I mean, is there a way to just kind of step back and just explain kind of how these things get linked?
Sure.
Okay.
So Peggy, you've gotten some good press.
Okay.
And what's happening is that you're getting articles in, like, UW Green Bay decided to write an article about 12 entrepreneurs that advanced to the Northeast Wisconsin Launch Alliance. So that was a story they did. They decided to link to you.
Okay.
They have a link on UW Green Bay's website to you. Wow, that's awesome. Because think about all of the traffic UW Green Bay gets. So what Google is saying now is, oh, Peggy Bakes, you just got a link from a website that has a lot of traffic. You must be popular.
Okay.
Yep. Yes.
Sorry.
So it's like, you kind of, in digital marketing, you combine things that in the traditional marketing that work. For example, other people talking about you, that works. The more press mentions you can get, that's traditional PR. And so your organization, because you were in these pitch competitions, there were stories written that you were mentioned. And what's great is they did a link back to your website. So this is helping you tell Google that you're popular. It's also helping you when people are searching for you. It can assure that you are climbing up the rankings and that Google will deem you as a reputable website.
Okay. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. We have this one. Wouldn't the person...
They don't.
If you are mentioned by the media, wouldn't they notify you? No. The media will write the story that they want, and they don't have the time, because media today, not only are they writing the story, they're publishing the social media, they're doing all the video content. They don't have time to contact you. You can use a tool to see if you've gotten an article, but they won't contact you. How do you see our follow, no follow? Is there a place, or is it okay, this follow, no follow is of intrigue. These links are intriguing to you all, which is awesome. You do have to subscribe to a tool like SEMrush, which is the next slide. Keyword Tool runs small businesses about $14 a month. SEMrush runs businesses about $99 a month. So if it's worth it to you to have this data, my recommendation would be the SEMrush has a great academy where you can learn how to use their tools. They have really good customer support. You could try it for a month and see if you find value in it. We obviously find a ton of value in it. We use it daily at the clinic. So these are two tools that, if you think about the money that you spend in advertising anyway, these are data-driven tools to help you. The data analytics or visualization, Search Console that I had mentioned, this is all free from Google. Remember, Google makes 90% of their income in advertising, so they want to make small businesses happy. And then social media analytics are free as well.
So Peggy wants to know the best way to keep up. Is Google Alert on your business name?
Oh, I love that. Peggy, yes, Google Alert on your business name is a great tool. I set these alerts to weekly if I'm doing it for business, but that's a use of a free tool, which is wonderful. Keep doing that. Yes.
And then we have a couple. Okay. Here's a three-parter.
A three-parter? Where does it start? For creating backlinks, we need to reach magazine to include in the gift guide. Yes. How to get more backlinks instead of spammy links. Can we know more about internal linking, please, inside the website? Ooh, okay, we only have a couple minutes left. It was a three-parted question from a client that said, can I ask a magazine for a link back to our website? Absolutely, 100%. How can we assure we're going to get good rather than spammy? We are not in control over that. All we can say is a no follow back. We can use Google Search Console. You will then say, I want to not have this site follow me. So that's a process that you can flag it, and you can say, no, I don't want that follow. And then what was the third part of the question?
Know more about it.
Internal linking on the website is, yes, internal. What this question, the person who asked the question is meaning is, when you link from one page to another page, this is showing on your own website, every page should link to another page because then you are showing Google that your pages are related. So that is a signal to Google. It's a very positive signal to Google that your site is related and they love it. So yes, definitely do that. Local newspapers can do a business article, would then get a mention in a local paper. Absolutely. Local newspapers are great. They do articles. Some local papers charge a fee for people to subscribe to their papers. Other papers provide these articles for anyone to look at. But yes, when you use SEMrush and you know that you've gotten a story and there's a link to yours, then, you know, that's an awesome thing. Sometimes you'll keep track. If you know that you got a story and the link isn't going back to your business, you can ask for one. Okay. One more page. So this is the final. So continuous learning is super important in our field. This is a list. And like I said, you're going to get this presentation. These are our favorites. So if you're really into digital marketing, you want to continue to educate yourself, Target Internet is a great podcast. It's out of the UK. I love their podcast notes. They have a lot of great resources. SEMrush Academy that we mentioned has lots of great online resources. The Google certifications, super important. I will say the GA4, the new analytics certifications aren't as good as the original, but it's still something. Later.com is wonderful, especially for Instagram. Andy Crestodina is a favorite of ours. Like we said, we used his link building resources. The HubSpot is really nice. And then Ann Handley has been in the business for a long time. So much of marketing is about having awesome writing. And she has a really good book called Everyone Writes. So thank you for joining us today. So here is a link to our YouTube channel, also a link to our podcast. And then when Laura gets back to you all, we will give you a hyperlink to our website to apply. Any other questions?
Just two comments, one more from Heather to kind of follow up with that. Oh, I love that.
Another comment from a attendee that local businesses that you have very collaborative relationships with that you link to each other. That's wonderful. Good stuff. Continue doing that, most definitely. All right, and so can we stop the recording? Stop the recording.